So two things I'd want to point out is that faculty need to be more transparent on how they behave as scholars and researchers themselves, letting our students into our scholarly and research lives so they understand their models. And two is that we've got to let them know is that the projects they're doing in our classes are authentic and meaningful. Okay? That these can lead to dissemination opportunities. So we need to leave behind the research paper, the inauthentic kind of research they may have done previously or in other classes, but to make clear messages about what it is as a discipline we do in terms of inquiry.
I'm also really intentional about making sure they disseminate whatever we come up with at the end of their project. And so if we're working toward an oral presentation, if it's early in their mentoring experience, that's usually the first way we try to disseminate. We will try to find an on-campus convention or an on-campus conference first and then move toward professional conferences later on, with the final goal hopefully to be able to put a manuscript together at some point.
It's very important to me to support my students' development professionally and in the creative process of dance, especially when my students are focusing on choreographic research projects. I want to introduce them to the various ways in which they can get their research out. And so in choreography, that most often takes the form of a public performance. And introducing students to the various and the varied places and venues in which they can show their work is often a very important aspect of our research time together. So I introduced them to a variety of student dance festivals. I also introduced them to a variety of professional dance festivals. And oftentimes in that last year, if they're seniors, we spend a lot of our time preparing applications, which in our case is really preparing portfolios, video portfolios, digital portfolios of their work. And we've had a lot of success with students showing their own original choreography in a variety of ways, through the professional festivals, certainly through student dance festivals, and also through film festivals. Actually, we have students who submit their creative projects to dance film festivals. And that has been very rewarding for the student. They are getting a professional credit, if you will, while they're still an undergraduate. And that has helped kind of set them off in their choreographic career.
I have really a good example of that. A student who is actually a media analytics student, a media analytics major, who actually talked to me. She's my advisee, and she said, "Well, if I'm thinking about actually finding a job after graduation, what are the things that I should do?" I said, "Well, undergraduate research is the type of thing that you should do, especially given your major." So she said, "Okay, what kind of things associated with undergraduate research I should pursue, in addition to just conducting the research project?" So I said, "Well, you should think about sending your manuscript to a conference presentation or potentially a journal publication." So she said, "Well, I don't really think I wanted to achieve that level of undergraduate research. I just want to have the experience, master skills, learn about the tools." I said, "Yes, that's very important, because when you are on the job market, you will be able to talk about those things. But on the other hand, you need certain things external to show people that you are doing quality work rather than just doing your work." So after completing her project, she actually got 2 manuscripts out of it, and she sent one of them to the Elon Journal of Undergraduate Research in Communication. It's an online publication hosted by the School of Communications at Elon, and she also sent another manuscript out of it to a symposium at the annual conference of the Broadcast Education Association. It was a student research competition, so she actually got the second place of that competition. So after that experience, she actually told me something like, "Oh, I didn't think about that I would submit my research to those venues. I only thought you told me that it's important for me to do some independent research project that is going to be beneficial for my job hunt. But I didn't realize I can achieve that." So to some extent, I think it's not just about encouraging them to share, and also to some extent just simply raise the awareness to some of the students who are not necessarily the honors, the fellows, who probably never thought about the undergraduate research experience is a necessity as part of their 4-year undergraduate research experience, is something that is important for them to know that there are things that they can achieve.
It's really the same conversation that I think faculty have with peers. You know, we want to disseminate information so we can share ideas and learn from each other. And I think we have the same conversation with our students. You know, so if we have a successful project and it is going well, we will encourage them to look at areas to take their information and to share with other students in undergraduate research capacities or even at professional conferences. And we've had success with that. Students have been able to do that, and the value that they get in doing that and coming back from that, it's probably one of the greatest successes that I've had as a faculty member, is to watch them present and then to see the value that they get. And there's not a lot of things like that, including any success that you could have in the classroom. It's different. It's a different kind of success.